this being the last show, I just want to address the audience real quick. Thank a few people that probably won't get the standing applause at the end. Obviously, thank you guys very much for coming. I just really want to start. I'm Mike Joyce, director in the English department here as well. And I just want to start by thanking the school, Mr. Rob Shaw, Mr. Mike Connor, our principal and vice principal, for giving us this awesome space to work with, giving us chairs and half a table and a lot of other things from around the school to put on stage. So I really want to say thank you to them very much. Also, obviously, there's 13 actors backstage that will most definitely deserve every bit of applause that they get when they get on here. They put in so much hard work, and it's amazing to work with those kids and see them kind of do what they do. I would say it's great to watch people do what they're great at, and this is exactly where all these kids belong. They're unbelievable on stage, and it's just really nice to work with them. It's a real honor and a privilege. The amount of work that they put in, the hours they put in after school, coming here 3, 4, 5 days a week, some of them, painting the floor, painting the walls, doing everything, memorizing all their lines, on top of being very much so stellar students, all of them. So it's really kind of a joy to watch that and see them do that. It's a real privilege for me to be able to do that. Also, there's students that won't be on stage tonight that are here that do unbelievable work for us. That the production section on the programs has a whole list of kids' names that don't get on the stage and deserve just as much applause as the actors as well. There's our lighting and tech guys upstairs, Ronan Bugle and Joe Crossa, that are here doing everything they can for us, helping out, changing light bulbs, and I mean, I think it's hot in this room here. Up there it's about 30 degrees warmer, and they're up there every night, doing what they do. There's our opening house crew that comes in. One person in particular, Cindy Nelson, who's out selling tickets, all 5 nights of the show. She's here. Our tech director, Ashley Beers, getting down here, helping out, bringing everybody down here to make sure that they do the work and help out, in all the little areas, painting the walls and finding an American flag, and around the school and stuff like that. So it's really there's a whole list of people I could go on all night long. But it's just really important. I just want to say thank you to them. Some of them are in the crowd, some of them are in the back. I just really want to say thank you to those guys. And thank you all for coming. I hope you really enjoy the show.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. What you're about to see is a jury trial reaches verdict. The names have been changed to protect the innocent. You may not discuss anything you see or hear outside the court. This is confidential, so please, no photography and power down all electronics. Thank you.
Murder in the first degree, premeditated homicide is the most serious charge tried in the criminal courts. You have heard a long, complex case, gentlemen. It is now your duty to sit down and try to separate the facts from the fancy. One man is dead, the life of another is at stake. There is a reasonable doubt in your mind as to the guilt of the accused, and you must declare him not guilty. If, however, there is no reasonable doubt, then he must be found guilty. Whichever way you decide, the verdict must be unanimous. I urge you to deliberate honestly and thoughtfully. You are faced with a grave responsibility. Thank you, gentlemen.
The jury will retire. Boys and stupid shit. Come on.
It was dry, huh? Good police day, place. I was struck dead in court.
My taxes are high enough.
I should go fast anyway.
Okay, ladies and gentlemen, everybody's here. If you need me, I'll be right outside. Just knock.
Hey, she just locked that door?
Yes, she did.
Oh, they think we are crooks.
She locked us in for a little while.
And they locked the kid up for it. Okay, by me.
I never knew they did that.
Sure, they locked the door. What do you think?
I just didn't know. It didn't occur to me.
Shall we all admit that it is hot and humid and our tempers are short?
It's been a pretty rough week, all right.
Hey, I feel just fine.
Well, it's been going on down at the office. You know how it is in advertising. In 6 days, my job will be gone, and the whole company too. They aren't gonna like this.
Well, figures this is our duty, huh?
I didn't know if that was doing my duty. I just mentioned that I might not have a job that I'm trying to get back.
Why'd that hurt her, huh? Take a look at that suit. She's rich.
Is it custom tailor?
Yes, it is.
You know, I have an uncle who's a tailor.
How does he know?
Not so well. You know, a friend of my uncle's, that's a friend of the tailor. He has a friend who wanted to take my place in his jury.
Why'd you let him? I done anything to miss this. What, didn't get caught or something?
You know what kind of fine you can pay for anything like that, right? Anyway, this friend of my uncle's, he was on a case like this once, about 10 years ago.
So what happened?
They let him off. Reason was down. You know what? About 8 years later, they found the guy had actually done it anyway. Can you believe it? A guilty man. A murderer. Turned loose on the street.
Well, you catch him?
They couldn't.
Oh, come on, why not?
A man can't be held in double jeopardy. Unless it's a hung jury, you can't try him twice for the same crime.
That isn't gonna happen. Yeah, 6 days. You know, we should have finished it in 2. Talk. Give me so much talk about nothing.
I guess they're entitled.
Yeah, everyone gets a fair trial. That's a system. I just can't say anything against it.
You like the kid's story about the knife? You had a funny story?
Well, look at the kind of people they are. You gotta expect that.
He bought the switchblade that night.
And then he lost it.
A hole in his
A
pocket.
hole in his father.
Well, that went an awful way to your father.
Look who you're down with. You know them.
Matt, you got a cold or something?
A Lulu. These all other cool can kill you.
I had one of those last year while I was on vacation, too.
Alright, now that we are all here, why don't we sit down so we can begin?
All right, let's make this quick. I got tickets to the Yankees tonight. They're playing the Red Sox. All right, Your Honor? Stop the show.
How about sitting down? The gentleman by the window. How about sitting down?
I'm sorry.
Well, it's tough to figure, isn't it? A kid killed his father? Bing. Just like that. What's the element? Family kids run around wild. Maybe it serves him right.
There are better proofs of emotion you may have. Perhaps a dislike for some group.
We all agreed it was hot.
And our tempers would get short.
Now, that's just if we disagree. Come on, this is opening shot. Let's get it done.
Alright then. Ladies and gentlemen, now we can handle this however way you want. I'm not going to make any rules if we want to discuss the matter first and then take a vote. Well, that's one method. Or we can all vote now and see where we stand.
So now, who knows, maybe we can all go home.
Yeah, let's see who's where.
Right with you?
All right, let us vote.
Does everyone agree?
That was easy.
Okay. All of those voting guilty, raise your hand. 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. And all those voting not guilty. The vote's 11 to 1.
Hey, you're in left field.
That's where we
Hold on. Do you honestly believe he's not guilty?
I don't know.
After 6 days, he doesn't know.
6 days I can learn calculus, A, B, C.
I don't believe it's as simple as A, B, C.
Hey, I never seen a guilty man in my life.
What does a guilty man look like? He's not guilty until we say he's guilty. Are we to vote on his face?
Oh, come on. You sat right there in the courtroom. The same thing we did. Man's a dangerous killer. You can see it.
Where do you look to see if a man's a killer?
Oh, well.
I'm asking, what are the facial characteristics of a killer? Maybe you know something I don't.
Look, what is there about the case that makes you think the boy's innocent?
He's 19 years
Oh,
old.
come on. 19's old enough. The kid knifed his own father. 4 inches into the chest. Yeah. Innocent little knife in your kid, huh?
I agree with you that the boy is guilty, but I think we should try to avoid emotionally colored arguments.
Okay, you know what? They proved it in at least a dozen different ways. They were listening for you?
No.
Do you believe the kid's stupid story he told?
I don't know whether I believe it or not. Maybe I don't.
So what do you vote not guilty for?
There were 11 votes for guilty. It's not so easy for me to raise my hand and send a boy off to die without talking about it first.
What makes you think it was easy for me?
Or me.
Nothing.
Is there something wrong because I voted fast?
Not necessarily.
No, you can talk for 100 years and you're not going to change my mind.
I don't want to change your mind.
Oh, just what were you thinking of doing then?
I just want to talk for a few minutes. Look, this kid's been kicked around his whole life.
growing up in a slum, his mother dead when he was 9. He's a tough, angry kid. You know why some kids get that way? Because we knock them on the head once a day, every day. I just think maybe we owe him a few words. That's all.
All right, it's hard, sure. It was hard for me. Everything I got, I fought for. I worked my way through college. That was a long time ago, and perhaps you do forget. I fought, yes, but I never killed.
Yeah, I know what it's like. Never killed nobody.
I've been withdrawn too. Wait until you've worked in an ad agency and the big butt fuzzy advertiser walks in. We all know.
In my country, in Europe, kicking was a science. So let's try to find something other than that.
Look, I don't mind telling you this, mister. We don't know the kid a thing. He got a fair trial. Didn't he? Do you know what that trial cost? He's lucky he got it. Look, we're grown-ups here, and you're not going to tell us that we have to believe this kid, knowing who he is and where he comes from. You can't believe a word they say. You know that.
I don't know that. What a terrible thing for a person to believe. Since when is dishonesty been a group characteristic? You have no monopoly on the truth.
All right, it's not Sunday. Don't need a sermon.
What this person says is very
I don't
dangerous.
see any need for arguing like this. I think we ought to behave like decent people.
Right.
All right, you insist. Thank you, sure. If we want to discuss the case, then let's discuss the facts.
That's a very good point. We came here to do a job. Let's do it.
If you people don't mind, I'm just going to shut the window.
If you don't mind, I'd like to keep it open.
But it's blowing on my neck.
It's summer. It's hot. Don't you want a little breeze?
I was very uncomfortable.
Look, it's the only window and there's 12 people in this room, if you don't mind.
I have somebody to tree, you know.
Yes, so do we.
Couldn't you trade chairs with someone at the other end of the table?
All right, if someone will trade.
Here. You can have my chair.
Thank you.
Shall we get back to the cave?
Yeah.
I may have an idea here. I'm just thinking out loud now. But it seems to me that it's up to us to convince this gentleman that we're right and he's wrong. So how about we each talk a minute or two? You know, try it on for size.
That sounds like a very good idea.
Very fair.
Suppose we go on around the table then.
Let's do it.
All right, we shall start with you.
Oh, well, I thought he was guilty. I mean, it was obvious.
In what way was it obvious?
The fact that nobody could prove otherwise.
Nobody has to prove otherwise. Innocent until proven guilty. The burden of proof is on the prosecution. The defendant doesn't have to open his mouth. That's the Constitution. The Fifth Amendment. You have heard of it.
Everyone has.
Sure, I've heard of it. I mean, I know what it is. All right, I just think he's guilty, okay?
No reason. Just guilty. There's a life at stake.
Okay, let's get back to the facts, shall we? Let's take the old man. Go to the second floor of the apartment, right into the room where the murder took place. 10 minutes to 12, later the killing says he hears loud noises come from upstairs. This sounds like a fight. Then he hears the kid say to his father, "I'm going to kill you." 1 second after that, he hears the body hit the floor. 15 seconds after that, he sees the kid running out of the house. Call the police, find the body with a knife in the chest.
And the coroner fixed the time of the death at around midnight.
Right. What else do you need?
Something just doesn't seem to fit.
The boy's entire story is flimsy. He claimed he went to the movies. That's a little bit ridiculous, don't you think? He couldn't even remember what picture he saw.
Yeah, that's right. You hear that? Yeah, absolutely right.
He didn't even have a ticket stub.
Who keeps a ticket stub at the movies?
I suppose, but the cashier didn't remember him.
Ticket didn't see him either.
Look, what about the woman across the street? If her testimony don't prove it, nothing does.
The threat she saw the killing, didn't she?
All right, how about we just go in order?
Just a second. Here's this woman who's lying in bed and can't sleep. It's hot, you know. Anyway, so she's lying in bed and she looks out the window and she sees this kid stick the knife right into his father.
How could she be sure what she saw when she saw through the window of a passing L train?
She's known the kid all his life. His window is right opposite of hers, across the L tracks. And she swore she saw him do it.
I heard her swear to it.
All right. And they proved that you can look out the window and through the passing L train and see what's happening on the other side. They proved it.
Weren't you just telling us a minute or two ago that you can't trust them, that you can't believe them?
So?
Then let me ask you this. Why do you believe her? I mean, she's one of them, too, isn't she?
You're a pretty smart fellow, aren't you?
Now, take it, Elijah. What do you let him get you upset for?
Everybody, they did take us to the woman's room, and we did look through the windows of the passing out train, didn't we?
Yes, we did.
And were you able to see what happened on the other side?
I wasn't able to see as well as they told me I would be able to see, but I did did see what happened on the other side.
You see. Do you see?
All right, let's just calm down. It's your turn.
I'll pass it.
All right, that's your privilege. How about you?
Yeah, I don't know. I started to be convinced with the testimony from the people across the hall. They say something about a fight between the boy and his father that night around 7 o'clock. I mean, I could be wrong.
Oh, I think it was 8 o'clock. That's it.
That's right, 8 o'clock.
They heard the father hit the boy twice, and then saw the boy walk angrily out of the house.
Yeah,
Well, what does that prove?
doesn't prove anything. It's just part of the bigger picture. And never said it had to prove anything.
Anything else?
Nah.
I don't know. I mean, we can keep talking about this, but I think we're just wasting our time.
I know.
Neither do I. Go on.
Look at the kid's record. Look, he stole a car. He's been arrested for mugging somebody. I think they said something about he stabbed someone in the arm.
They did.
Yeah, he was picked up for night fighting. At 15, he was in reform
They
school.
sent him to reform school for stabbing.
Yeah, this is a very fine day.
Ever since he was 5 years old, his father beat him up regularly. He used his fists.
So would I had a kid like that.
Yeah, you're right. That's a kid, you know, and the way they are. Yeah, I got a kid. Seen that? When he was 8 years old, he ran away from a fight. I saw him. I'll tell you, I was so ashamed, I told him flat out, I'm gonna make a man out of you, or I'm gonna bust you into pieces trying. He was 15, he hit me in the face. He was big, you know, I haven't seen him for years. You know, I can't stand tough kids. You work your heart out of them, and they just... Let's get going.
Everybody, we're missing the point here. This boy, let's say he's a product of a filthy neighborhood and a broken home. We can't help that. We're not here to go into reasons why slums are breeding grounds for criminals. They are. I know it, so do you. Children who come out of slum backgrounds are potential menaces to society.
You sit there. I don't want to be proud of him. Believe me.
I've lived in a slum my whole life.
Oh, what were
I
you
used to play in a backyard that was filled with garbage, and maybe it still smells like it.
All right, now let's just be reasonable. There's nothing
There
personal.
is something personal.
Oh, come on! She wasn't talking about you. Let's not be so sensitive.
Who was she talking about?
I can understand your sensibility.
Let's stop this bickering.
We're wasting time.
Your turn.
All right, well, I had a peculiar feeling about this case. Somehow I felt the defense never did a thorough cross-examination. So many questions were left unanswered.
Well, it doesn't change my opinion about the guilt of the boy. Still, I agree with you. The defense counsel was bad.
So?
This is a point.
Okay, what about facts,
There
huh?
were so many questions left unanswered.
Yeah, what about the questions of words? You know, let's take the cute little switch knife. You know, the one the fine upright kid admitted to buying?
All right, let's talk about it. Let's get the knife in here. I'd like to see it, Mr. Foreman.
Oh, come on. There's no reason to look at it here. We all know what it looks like. And we think, oh,
The gentleman has a right to see exhibits and evidence.
okay with me?
This knife is a pretty strong piece of evidence, don't you agree?
Yes, I do.
Now let's get to the sequence of events right as they relate to the switch knife.
The boy admits going out of his house at 8 o'clock after being slapped by his father.
Or punch.
Or punch. The boy went to a neighborhood store and bought a switch knife. The storekeeper was arrested the following day and admitted selling it to the boy.
Okay, well, I think we all agree it's a pretty unusual knife, right? It's kind of hard to forget something like that.
The storekeeper identified the knife and said it was the only one of its kind in stock. Why did the boy get it?
A present for his friend, he said.
Am I right so far?
Right.
Next boy claims that on the way home, the knife must have fallen through a hole in his pocket and he never saw it again. Now there's a story, people. You know what actually happened. Boy took the knife home, stabbed his father with it, and he remembered to wipe off the fingerprints. Everyone connected with the case identified this knife. Now, are you trying to tell me that someone picked it up off the street, went to the boy's house, and stabbed his father with it, just to be amusing?
No, I'm saying the boy lost the knife, and someone else stabbed the father with a similar knife. It's possible.
Take a look at this knife. It's a very strange knife. I've never seen one like it before in my life. Neither had the storekeeper. Are you trying to make us accept a pretty incredible coincidence?
I'm not trying to make anyone accept anything. I'm just saying it's possible.
And I'm saying it's not possible. Let's take a
All
look.
right, calm down, quiet down.
Just look at it. It is the same knife.
Where did
junk shop around the corner from the boy's house. It costs $2.
Okay, now listen to me.
I'm listening.
Hey, you pulled a pretty neat trick, huh? Yeah, you proved absolutely zero. They can be 10 knives at that. What difference does it make?
Maybe there are.
Boy lying, you know!
And maybe he didn't lie. Maybe he did lose the knife, and maybe he did go to the movies. Maybe the reason the cashier didn't see him was because he snuck in, and he was ashamed to say so. Anybody here didn't sneak into the movies once or twice when they were young?
I didn't.
Really? Not even once?
We didn't have movies.
Maybe the boy lost the knife. Maybe he lied. Do you think he lied?
That's a stupid question. Of course he lied.
Do you?
You don't have to ask me. You know my answer. He lied.
Do you think he lied?
I don't know.
No, wait a second. What are you, the guy's lawyer? Listen, there's still 11 of us who think he's guilty. If you want to be stubborn and hold up this jury, he'll be tried again and found guilty sure as he's born.
You're probably right.
So what are you trying to do about it? We could be here all night. It's only one night. The boy could die. Come on.
Now that is true.
Let's get on with this.
You're right, let's get going.
How do you like this guy?
You tell me, you're the one holding up the show.
Obviously, you don't think the boy is guilty.
I have a doubt in my mind.
But you haven't really presented anything to us that helps us understand your doubt. There's the old man downstairs. He heard it. Hear the kid shriek it out.
I went across the L tracks. She saw it.
We know he bought a switchblade that night, but we don't know where he was. The movies?
And earlier the night, the kid's father was trying to have a fight.
He's been a valid kid all the way, and while that doesn't prove anything,
Still, you know.
All right. I've got a proposition for you. I want you 11 to vote by a secret ballot. I'll abstain. If there are still 11 votes for guilty, I won't stand alone. We'll take in a guilty verdict right now.
All right, let's do it.
That's this test.
Thanks. Please pass this down. Down. Do you have enough paper? Everyone has a utensil and a... Thank you. Good? Yeah. That everyone? All right then. Guilty. 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 Guilty.
Oh, there's 6 for you.
Please. Guilty. 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 Not guilty. I'm guilty.
How do you like that?
All right. Who was it? We have a right to know. Who did it? What did he take the
Is that the way to talk about a man's life?
Whose life are you talking about? The life. Then there's the life of the... I want to know. Who? Yeah, so do I.
Excuse me, this was a secret ballot.
It was a secret ballot we cooked it, but now I want to know.
A secret ballot. We agreed on that point, no? If the person wants surveys.
Okay, I don't know what you're talking about. There are no secrets here. I know who did it. Who do you think you are? You come in here, you're both guilty, and then this slick preacher over here starts to tear your heart out with stories of a poor little slum kid who just couldn't help but become a murderer. So what do? You change clothes. And that is the most sickening thing ever.
I agree with you that the boy is guilty. But let's be fair.
Oh, hold it. Be fair. That's what I'm trying to do. We're trying to put a guilty man in the chair here. You're off.
No, wait just a
No, no,
second.
you listen to me.
Let's try to get organized.
It's organized. Let's try to be civilized.
Please, I would like to say something here. I have always thought that a person was entitled to an unpopular opinion in this country. This is the reason I came here. I wanted to have the right to disagree.
You disagree with us?
Usually, I would. It is in this one case that I agree with you. But the point that I'm trying to make is that in my own country, I am ashamed to say
Oh,
that-
now. What do we have to do? Listen to the whole history of your country?
It's always wise to bear in mind what has happened in other countries where people aren't allowed to disagree. But we are. So let's stick to the subject.
Yeah, I'll stick to the subject. I want to know what made you change your vote.
And why do you think I changed my vote?
Because I did. Go ahead. She doesn't have anything to tell you. She didn't change her vote. I did.
I was going to tell you, you were so sure.
Yeah, well, I'm sorry. Oh,
Perhaps you would like to know
and
why.
perhaps you'd like to know why the
The
kid...
old man is trying to speak.
Thank you. This man chose not to stand against us. That's his right. It takes a great deal of courage to stand up for something, even if you believe in it very strongly. This man left the verdict up to us. He gambled for support, and I gave it to him. I want to hear more. Vote is 10-2.
That's fine. If the speech is over, let's move on.
If there was anything in the kid's favor, I'd vote not guilty.
I don't see what it is.
Neither do I. They're clutching at straws.
Guilty again. That's good, I suppose.
It's that one juror that's holding out. But he'll come around. He's got to, and fundamentally, he's a very reasonable man.
Yeah, I guess so.
We haven't come up with one real fact that a not guilty verdict.
Well, it's hard, you know.
Yes, it is. And what does guilty beyond a reasonable doubt really mean?
Well, what's a reasonable doubt?
Exactly. When a life's at stake, what is a reasonable doubt? You've got to have law and order. You've got to draw the line somewhere. If you don't, everyone would start nagging people.
There's not much doubt here.
Two men think so. I wonder why. I really wonder why.
Well, you do hear stories about innocent men who go to jail to death sometimes. And, well, years later, they just turn out.
And then on the other hand, some killers get turned loose and they go and kill again. They get turned loose by some technicality and they go and kill again.
I wanted to apologize for it. We all got a little bit excited. I didn't mean to get so fast. No, it's nothing personal. Good? Alright, suppose you answer me this. If the kid didn't kill his father, then who did?
As far as I know, we're going to decide whether or not the boy on trial is guilty. We're not concerned with anyone else's motives here.
Suppose, but who else would have motive?
Kids of all what's going on, maybe an old girl.
It's guilty beyond a reasonable doubt. This is important to remember.
Everyone's a lawyer. Now, suppose you tell us what your reasonable doubts are, huh?
It's not that easy. At this point, it's just a feeling I have.
A feeling? What are we going to do? Spend the whole night talking about our feelings? Let's get to the facts.
Hey, you said a mouthful. Listen, the old man heard the kid say, I'm gonna kill you. 1 second after that, he heard the body fall. And 15 seconds after that, you saw the kid run out of the house.
Where is the reasonable doubt in that?
That's right, and let's not forget the woman across the street. She looked into the open window and saw the boy stab his father. She saw it.
Now, if that's not enough for
It's
you.
not enough for me.
So what is enough for you? I'd like to know.
I feel like it's like talking into a dead phone.
The woman saw the killer in the windows of a passing L train. The train had 5 cars, and she saw through the last 2. She remembers the most insignificant details.
Right. What do you have to say to that?
Something just doesn't seem right.
Doesn't seem right. Okay, supposing you take your time. Don't think about it. Yeah, let me a pencil. Let's play a game of tic-tac-toe. I mean, I might as well pass the time. Here.
This isn't a game.
Hold on a minute.
This is a man's
Hey,
life.
who do you think you are? I gotta find the walker at the stable with belts in.
Hey, I don't want any fights to break out.
You hear? The nerve, the absolute nerve.
All right, forget it. It don't mean anything.
Yeah, why don't you sit down, buddy?
Now, this isn't a game. What does he think he is?
Were we talking about L trains?
Yes, we were.
So,
So, how long would you say it takes an L train going at top speed to pass a given point?
what has that got to do with anything?
How long? Guess.
I wouldn't have the slightest idea.
Neither would I.
What do you think?
10, 12 seconds, maybe?
I'd say that's a fair guess. Anybody else?
I would think about 10 seconds, perhaps.
Yeah, about 10 seconds.
All right, we're agreed. 10 seconds. What are you getting at?
This. It takes an L train 10 seconds to pass a given point. That point is the window of the room in which the killing took place. You can almost reach your hand down and touch the L tracks, right?
That's right, I tried it.
So,
All right. Let me ask you this: have any of you lived close to the L tracks?
I've lived pretty close to them.
They make a lot of noise, don't they? I've lived right under the L tracks. When the train comes by and you've got your window open, the noise is unbearable. You can't hear yourself think.
All right, you can't hear yourself think. Get to the point.
The old man said he heard the boy
He
say,
didn't say it. He screamed.
heard the boy scream, "I'm going to kill you." And then 1 second later, he heard the body fall, right?
Right.
The old woman said she looked out the last 2 cars of the L train and saw the body fall, right?
Right.
The last 2 cars. The last 2 cars.
What are you giving us here?
It takes an L train 10 seconds to pass a given point, or 2 seconds per car. That means the L train would have have to have gone by the apartment for at least 6 seconds, maybe more, before the murder took place. The old man would have had to hear the boy say, "I'm going to kill you," with the front of the L roaring past his nose. It's not possible that he could have heard it.
What are you talking about? Of course it's possible.
With an L train going
Hey,
by?
old man said he screamed it out.
An L train makes a lot of noise.
It's enough for me.
It's enough for me too.
I don't think he could have heard it. The old man probably didn't hear it. I mean, with the only ones.
What are you talking about? You called the old man a liar?
Something just doesn't seem to fit.
Well, it stands.
Hey, you're crazy. What possible reason would he have to lie?
Pension? Maybe.
You keep coming up with all this bright sayings. Why did you send him to a newspaper, huh? They paid $2.
What does that have to do with a man's life, huh? Go on. Why might the old man lie? You have a right to be heard.
It's just, I looked at him for a very long time. There was a tear in his jacket, underneath his arm. Did you notice that? He was a very old man with a torn jacket, and he walked using 2 canes. I think I know him better than anyone else here. This is a quiet, frightened, insignificant man who's been nothing all his life. Had no recognition, his name in no newspapers. No one knows him after 75 years. It's a very sad thing. A man like this needs to be listened to, questioned, quoted just once. It's very important.
And you're trying to tell me that the old man lied just so he could feel important?
He wouldn't lie necessarily, but he would make himself believe that he heard the boy and recognized him as he ran down the stairs.
Well, that's the most fantastic story ever. Why would you make something up?
I'm not making
You must be making it up. People don't just go around lying.
He made himself believe he told the
Oh,
truth.
yeah. What do you know of it?
I speak from experience. The same man.
I think we all understand now. Think.
Hey, if you wanted to tell us all you were a liar, you could have just said
Now
something.
that is too much.
Hey, he's a liar. He just told us.
He was not saying that. He was explaining.
Hey, didn't you just tell everybody here that you're a liar?
Please, he was explaining the circumstances about why the old man might have lied. There's a difference.
Liar's a liar, and that's all there is.
Have some
gentlemen.
compassion.
All right, gentlemen. We have our job and our duty here.
I think they covered it.
Hope we have.
Does anyone have anything else they would like to add?
Cough drop?
No, thank you.
Anybody want a cough drop?
I'll take one.
Next. Shall we move on?
All right. Now, I think we've proven at this point that it would have been impossible for the old man who heard the boy say, "I'm going to kill you."
Well, I disagree.
Let's hear it through anyway.
But, assuming for a second that he did hear it, this phrase, how many times have each of you used it? Probably hundreds. If you do that one more time, Junior, I'm going to murder you. Come on, Rocky, kill him! We use this phrase every day. This does not necessarily mean we are going to murder someone.
Don't the circumstances alter that somewhat?
The old man was murdered.
Yes, besides, the phrase was, "I'm going to kill you." Kid screamed at the top of his lungs.
That's the way I understand it.
So don't try and tell me that he didn't mean it. Any kid says something like that the way he said it,
And how they mean it.
All right, now let me ask you this. Do you honestly believe the kid is dumb enough to yell something like that for the whole neighborhood to hear? I don't. He's much too bright for that.
Right? He's a common ignorant slob. You don't even speak English good.
He doesn't speak English, but the boy is clever enough.
I'd like to change my vote. Not guilty.
Are you sure?
Yes, I'm sure.
All right, then the vote seems to be 9-3 in favor of guilty.
I'd like to know why you changed your vote.
I think there's a doubt.
Where? Where is this
But
stuff?
there's the knife and
Fine.
He talked you into believing a fairy tale.
Go on, give us the reasons.
the old man, too. Maybe he didn't lie, but then just maybe he did. For all we know, he didn't like the kid.
Well, that isn't the end.
I believe that there's reasonable doubt.
What are you basing it on? Stories this guy's telling you? He had a write for Amazing Detectives Monthly to make a fortune. Listen, the kid had a lawyer, didn't he? Why didn't he bring up these points?
Lawyers can't think of everything.
Brother, now we're supposed to believe that the old man didn't get out of bed and see the kid book it down the stairs 15 seconds after the kill.
That's a testimony.
And the old man swore to this. Yes, he swore to it just so he could feel important.
Did the old man say that he ran?
What's the difference? He got there.
I don't remember what he said, but I don't see how he could have run.
He said he went. I remember it. He said he went from his bedroom to the front door. That's enough, isn't it?
Where's the bedroom again?
Down the hall somewhere.
Down the hall somewhere? Are we just sending a boy off to die because the room is down the hall somewhere?
I thought you remembered everything. Don't you remember that?
No, I don't.
Neither do I.
I'd like to see a diagram of the apartment, Mr. Coleman.
You know, why don't we just see the whole case over just so you can get your back straight?
Please, the room is down the hall somewhere. There's a life at stake. Do you know exactly where it is?
Well, it's across
Mr. Foreman?
I heard you.
Okay, I'm sorry. How come you're the only one that ever has to see exhibits and evidence, huh?
I want to see this one too.
So do I.
Yeah, now let's stop wasting time.
Are we going to start waiting for all this nonsense about where the body was found?
No, we gotta figure out how an old man who uses a pair of canes to walk and who's had 2 strokes in the past 3 years could possibly get from the front door, from his bedroom door to the front door in 15 seconds.
He said 20 seconds.
He said 15.
Oh, come on, how does he know how long 15 seconds is? He gave me the joke or something
He
like that.
said 15 seconds. He was very positive.
It was an old man. Half the time it was confused. You know, how can you be positive about anything? I mean, you know what I mean.
No, I don't know. Maybe you know.
Thank you.
I brought this too.
Do you want this?
Yes, please.
Do me a favor. Wake me up when this is over.
I stayed at that diagram for 2 hours, and that was enough.
Some of us are interested. Go ahead.
All right. This is the apartment in which the killing took place. The old man's room is directly beneath it and exactly the same. Here are the L tracks. The bedroom, another bedroom, living room, bathroom, and here's the hall. Here's the front door, and here are the steps. Now, the old man was in this room. He says he got up, out of bed, went out into the hall, down the hall to the front door, and opened it just in time to see the boy racing down the steps, right?
That's the story.
So that happened.
15 seconds after he heard the body fall.
Correct.
The old man's bed is by the window, 12 feet from the bed to the bedroom door. The length of the hall is 43 feet, 6 inches. This old man had to get up, out of bed, grab his canes, walk 12 feet, open the bedroom door, walk 43 feet, and open the front door, all in 15 seconds. Do you really think this is possible?
You know it's possible.
I don't see why not.
Besides, it would have been in a hurry. Old man said the kids screamed it out.
The old man could only walk very slowly. They had to help him into the witness chair.
You make it seem like it's a long walk. It's not.
It's a long walk for a man who uses 2 canes.
Okay, what exactly are you doing right now?
I want to try this thing. Let's see how long it took him. I'm going to face up 12 feet.
You're crazy. You can't reenact something like that.
Perhaps we can see it. It's an important
That's a
point.
ridiculous waste of time.
Just let him do it.
Foolish, but go ahead.
Back to that chair, please. Oh, thank you. All right. This will be the bed, and this will be the bedroom door. How far from here to that wall?
I'd say that's around 20 feet.
20 feet's close enough. From here, in fact, is a little less than the length of the hall the old man would have had to move through, right?
A few feet, maybe.
Look, this is absolutely insane. What makes you think you can do this?
You can't stop him, right?
Do you mind if I try? According to you, it'll only take 15 seconds. We can spare that. Now, who's got to watch with the second hand?
Oh, I do.
All right. When you want me to stamp your foot, that'll be the sound of the body falling.
Okay, we'll time you from there. All right. Well, I want the second 60.
Of course.
Speed it up now.
This is even more quickly than the man walked into the courtroom.
Yeah, no.
If you think I should go a little faster, I will.
Speed it up a little.
So the old man's
Stop!
Right.
What's the time?
That was 39 seconds.
That can't be.
39 seconds.
Well, how about that?
39 seconds. 39.
And the old couple swore on his oath that it was 15 seconds.
He may have been a bit off with the speed. Deal could have removed that, but 24 seconds off. Well, now, you know.
Now look, far be it from me to call anyone a liar, but still, given the difference in speed between the old man and you, still 24 seconds, that's quite a
Quite a discrepancy.
It's my guess that the old man was trying to get to the front door, heard someone racing down the steps, and assumed it was the boy.
Yeah, that's it.
Assumed? Hey, listen, people. I've seen some real pieces of dishonesty in my day, but listen to this way things can.
What dishonesty?
Come on, tell it! Okay, don't you come in here with your heart bleeding all over the floor about slum kids and the injustices of it all. You got a bunch of soft-hearted old ladies listening. Not me. I'm getting real sick of you. What's wrong with you people? The kid's guilty. He's got a burn. We're letting him slip through our fingers.
Our fingers. Are you his executioner?
Oh, I'm wonderful.
Perhaps you'd like to pull the
For this
switch.
kid, you better pull the switch.
I feel sorry for you.
Don't even start with me!
What it must feel like to want to pull the switch.
Shut up!
You're a sadist.
Shut up!
See this boy die because you
Sit down.
hurt
Go
him,
back to
not
the
because of facts. You are a beast. You disgust.
Shut up! Go there, kill him! Swear to God, kill him!
Now, you don't mean you'll actually kill me, do you?
What's going on here? Weird noise.
It's fine. Everything's good? You can take that back. We're done with it.
What are you looking at, huh?
I don't see why we can behave like children here.
Nor do I. We have a responsibility. This is the wonderful thing about democracy, that we are notified by now to come down to this place, to decide the guilt or innocence of a man we have not known before. We have nothing to gain or lose by this verdict. This is the reason why we are strong. We should not make this a personal decision.
Thank you. Very much.
Why do you thank me?
You forget. It's good to be reminded.
I'm glad that we're going to be civilized about this.
Well, we're still nowhere.
No, we're somewhere. Or getting there, maybe.
Maybe.
Does anyone have any ideas?
I think that we should call another vote. Mr. Foreman?
Sounds perfectly fine. Everyone agree?
One open ballot. Let's call out votes. One vote stands.
Sounds fair. Anyone object?
Let's vote.
All right, then I shall call out your jury numbers. I vote yes. Guilty. Number 2.
Not guilty.
Number 3.
Guilty.
Number 4.
Guilty.
Number 5.
Not guilty.
Number 6.
Not guilty.
Number 7.
Guilty.
Number 8.
Not guilty.
Number 9.
Not guilty.
Number 10.
Guilty.
Number 11.
Not guilty.
And number 12.
Guilty.
I'll tell you something. The crime is being committed right here in this room.
The vote is 6 to 6.
Okay, you know what? I'm going to go walk in there right now with the clear hung jury. There's no point going on.
I'd like to know why you changed your mind, and why you did it, and why you did. There are 6 men here who think we may be turning a murderer loose in the street. Emotion won't do. Why?
Well, I don't think that the old man saw the kid run down the stairs, and I don't think that he heard him say, "I'm gonna kill you." Yeah, old man dreamed. Even if he did, we would, on the authority of this gentleman, to prove that even if you say, "I'm gonna kill you," doesn't actually prove you're gonna kill somebody.
All right, why don't we just take this into the judge? Let the kid take his chance with 12 other guys.
The vote is 6 to 6. I don't think we'll ever grant anything.
It's gotta be unanimous. We're gonna convince him.
At first I was alone. Now 5 others agree there is a doubt.
Okay, you cannot convince me there's a doubt. Because I know there's no doubt.
I tell you what, maybe we are a hung jury. It happens sometimes.
We are not going to be a hung jury.
But we are. Right now, perfect balance is taken in.
If there is a reasonable doubt, I don't see it.
The doubt is there. In my mind.
Maybe we should vote.
What do you mean, vote?
Come on, not again.
I still want to know. Vote on what?
Are we, or aren't we, hung jury?
You mean vote yes, we are a hung jury, or no, we are not a hung jury.
Yes, that's exactly what I was thinking.
We can't even decide whether or not we want the window open or not.
We'll make it a majority vote. The majority wins.
If 7 or more of us vote yes, that we are a hung jury, then we take it into the judge and tell him that we are a hung jury.
Right, and if 7 or more of us vote no, then we aren't a hung jury. And we shall go on to discuss it.
It doesn't seem quite right to me.
That's the only solution. I agree. It's the only way.
Anything than this.
All right then. I vote yes. We are a hung jury. Number 2.
No.
Number 3. hung jury. So go on.
Good. We go on.
Why did you change your mind?
Oh, well, he made a number of good points, and, well, he seemed so sure. Well, he, on the other hand, just got angry and insulted everybody.
Does anger and insults change the guilt of the boy? He didn't do it. Are you going to let a murderer loose in the street because one of the jurors gets angry when he thinks a murderer is being turned loose?
Yeah, I guess you're right.
There is a doubt. I don't think so. The track is straight in front of the window. Let's take that point. So the L train would have made a low, rumbling noise. L trains screech when they go around curves. So the old man could have heard a scream, which is high pitched. And it is a tenement, and they do have been walks.
Hey, that's good, that's good. That's it.
And what if the old man was wrong about the time it took him to get to the door, but right about who he saw? Please remember that there weren't any fingerprints on the knife. And it is summer, so gloves seem unlikely.
Hey, you listen to this? She knows what she's talking about.
And it might have taken a few seconds to get out a handkerchief and wipe away the fingerprints.
This is possible. Why don't we just time this one too and see?
Just what are we timing?
Yes, let's be exact, please.
I am saying that the old man may have been wrong about the time it took him to get to the door, but right about who he saw running down the stairs. Now, it may have taken the murderer about 39 seconds to wipe away all the fingerprints and get down to the place where the old man saw him. The boy, that is.
This is right. Now look, we reconstructed the old man getting out of bed to the door, and we timed it. How about we reconstruct the actual crime?
Well, if we can reconstruct it.
I think a murderer could easily use up 30 to 40 seconds at this point.
Let's reconstruct the killing.
Yeah, let's do it.
Why don't you do the stabbing, huh?
No, I'll do it.
And how did you be the one that gets stabbed? Don't forget, it takes 1 second.
And he was found inside, his right side. So fall and roll onto your right side. If someone hits another person enough to kill them, don't you suppose that that person will look at his victim for a second or two?
Divorce yourself from this particular case. Just human nature.
This is reasonable.
Okay, hold on. Yeah, father fell on his right side. We all know that. Stabbing someone isn't like shooting. He wants right in the heart. Father would have worked around on the floor for a couple minutes, writhing maybe.
That's quite possible. There would have been enough oxygen in the system to last it for 2 or 3 seconds, I should think.
Then wouldn't the father have cried out?
Maybe the kid held his mouth.
This too is possible.
Also, there's another point we may bring out. Anyone who is clear enough mentally to wipe away the fingerprints after murdering someone, well, that person is also clear enough mentally to look around the apartment, or the room in this case, to see if there were any other clues. It would just be for a second or two, I should think, but still, he would look.
This just gets better and better.
We're trying to make it clear. Once we talk about quality when words involved, well, let's do it.
I'm sorry. About the fingerprints. The kid wiped the fingerprints off of the knife. Well, what about the doorknob? I mean, if some man entered my home, a man that hated me, entered my home and cleaned his fingerprints off of my doorknob, I wouldn't feel easy about it. And cleaning off fingerprints definitely does take some time.
You timed the last one. Why don't you time this one too?
Sure.
Stamp your foot when you want me to start.
Okay, I want the second hand to be a 60.
I'm going to kill you. Now, he would have waited a few seconds. Then, he would have gone over, would have wiped the knife, would have checked for other clues. Then, he would have gone over to the door. He would have wiped both knobs. Stop!
Great. That was 29 seconds.
And whoever did murder the old man, and I think it was a boy, would have had to run down the hall and down the stairs. At least one flight of stairs.
You see that?
The old man may have been wrong at the time, but in view of this, I think it's quite reasonable to assume that he did see the kid run down the stairs.
So now both kind of sequences check. The one you did and the one we did. What with running downstairs and everything, it does seem to pretty much check up on time.
Sure, he's an old man who wanted attention. But the old man feels the same way everyone else does. There's a life at stake.
So the story of the old man may well be true.
Except that he swore under oath that was only 15 seconds.
Well,
this does tend to confirm the story of the old man, but in part, he's now a proven liar. And this is by your own admission.
Well, that may be true. In fact, the old man lies in part. But I think it'll change my vote once more. Guilty?
And what do you think now, huh?
Yeah, I don't know. I want to talk some more. At first I thought I was guilty, and then I changed, and yeah, now I'm sort of swinging back to guilty.
Or what about?
No. I am in real doubt. Real doubt.
I said guilty. That's right the first time.
Now we're beginning to make some sense.
Vote seems to be 9-3 in favor of guilty.
One more question about the old man downstairs. How many of you have lived in apartment buildings?
I do not know what you're thinking, but I know what I'm thinking.
What is that?
I do not live in a tenement, but it is close, and there's only enough light that you can see the steps. No more. The light bulbs are so small, and this murder took place in the tenement. Remember how we stumbled on the steps?
The police were using big light bulbs, and some even had flashlights, remember?
And this old man, who misjudged the time by 20 seconds, on this we all agree. This old man looked down the dark hallway and recognized the figure running.
He was 100% wrong about the time. It took nearly twice as long as he thought.
Then could the old man not be 100% wrong in who he saw?
Okay, I'm sorry. That's the most idiotic thing I've heard you. You're making that bad.
We're a hung jury. Let's be honest about it.
Do you truly believe there's no room for reasonable doubt?
Yes, I do.
I beg your pardon, but maybe you don't understand the term reasonable doubt.
Who does she think she is? What do you mean I don't understand the term reasonable doubt? She comes over here, running for her life, and before she can even take a big brush, she's telling us how to run the show. The arrogance of this girl!
No one here is asking where anyone came from,
I was born right here.
or where your father came from.
Maybe it wouldn't hurt to take advice from people who came running here. Maybe they learned something we didn't. We're not so perfect.
Please, it's all right.
It's not all right.
Okay. Okay, I'm sorry. Is that what you wanted?
That's what I want.
Alright, does anyone have anything constructive they want to contribute?
Well, something's been bothering me for a while now. The whole business about the staff wound and how it made the whole downward angle of it.
Okay, so don't tell me. We're going to go over that again. We went over it and over it in court.
I know we did. But it just doesn't add up. What? I mean, the boy's 5 feet 8 inches tall, and the dad was 6 feet 2 inches tall. That's a difference of 6 inches. It's a kind of an awkward thing to step down as someone who's half foot taller than you.
Okay. You're not going to be satisfied until you see it again, so I'm going to give you a demonstration. Somebody stand up. Are you watching? We're going to have to do this again. Is that 6 inches?
That's more than 6 inches.
Let it be more then. I'm going to kill you! Look out!
Hey, that's not funny.
What's the matter with you?
Oh, come on. No one's hurt, are they?
No, nobody's hurt.